when you leave it tonight. We will not forget it. I know he's not up for several years, but we're not going to forget this. This is too important. And if you need more reasons, I could go on, but I'll give you a couple of quiet moments to leave your voice messages. Is the phone accepting voicemails? Okay. Good. Good. Excellent. You know, this is about we the people. We are the people. And when we pull together and we do these things together, they matter. We have a monthly meeting with him, and as Willie mentioned last week, he said we asked him not to do this. We got kind of a ha answer, and then it came out yesterday he's going to do it. Well, it's not acceptable. That's not what we the people want. He represents us. Yes, Leandra.
I wanted to mention that I've been on a few of the representatives' pages, and there's a lot of people telling them to vote for the Mark Wayne Mullen and also for the SAVE Act. So, yeah, so they're not Democrats, but I think Democrats have to get on their pages and say the opposite so they don't think that they're ignoring the constituents. I think it's really important. It could be bots, but I've seen names that I seem familiar. Yeah, no SAVE Act, no Mark Wayne Mullen, but they have to see it. I think other people have to see it so they don't think that our representatives are just rogue. We want to show them that people don't agree with those things and why. So I just want help with that.
Thank you, Leandra. Okay, how many people left the message? Oh my God, I love you so much. Thank you. Perfect. Perfect. All right. This is what democracy looks like, guys. It's not fun and it's painful and all of that stuff, but this is what we need to do. Okay, next slide. This one's more fun, I promise. Yay! Okay, Kim, come tell us about postcard therapy.
Hello. I'm Kim Kaler, and along with Amy Harrison and Michael Schwartz, we are helping me with the postcard therapy. We are creating postcards that are handmade. 5,000 postcards is what our goal is. We've already done 1,200 postcards. We're sending them out to potential voters 18 to 25 years old and first-time voters. So we want to get that done by September. So we do have a little bit of time, but we're asking for your help with this project. And we do meet on Fridays from 10 a.m. to noon, and we work on the postcards. But we found that a lot of people aren't available at that time. So what we've done is put together some postcard packets, and there's 25 in a packet. And you can take them home and do them at your leisure. We've got instructions. You could do the front side drawing if you want to draw. If you're not inclined to draw, you can also do the back side, which is the wording. And that includes election day date and the early voting dates. So it's actually very fun and very, it's like a calm therapy time. That's why we call it postcard therapy. So if you want to help us with this, we have a QR code that you can go to and find out about that. We will bring postcards here on Mondays so that you can have them. We also will have them available on Fridays from 10 a.m. to noon.
So, quick question, Kim. Okay. So the packets you're giving out, they're blank postcards,
yes.
And you get to art them.
If you want
to art them, you can draw pictures like what you see up here on these hand-drawn cards. Make your own picture. It's just about getting out the vote. If you're on one of those boring Zoom calls, this is better than doodling. It's really kind of fun. It's useful, and it achieves something. And you can just, if you don't want to draw pretty pictures on the front, just write the message on the back. Somebody else will come along and do the pretty picture on the front of the card. So it's pretty easy. 5,000 is a very ambitious goal. Indivisible Albuquerque is going to pay for the postage for all of these postcards to be mailed. And let's see. I don't see any smiling faces up there having fun. Do you? It's just kind of fun. It's kind of fun. And when you go over there, and I didn't get to stay very long, but I went over one day just to see what this was about. And there's just laughter pouring out of the room. It's just a fun time. So enjoy some fun time and go make postcards at Postcard Therapy on Fridays at what time?
10 a.m. until noon. But again, we are getting the postcard packets, so if you want to take them home, you're welcome to do that too, because we want to get this moving forward.
And it's at the DPNM office at 4013 Silver Southeast on Fridays from 10 to noon. Liz, they're not addressed yet. We're making blank. We haven't got the mail list. We haven't printed the labels. We're not doing that till closer to the election. Yes. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Michael, the Signal group. So that QR code lets you join the Signal group for Postcard Therapy. That's where that goes, because I tested it. That's where I tested it. That's where it goes.
The other QR code is with the packet, and that goes to examples of the postcard.
So, yes, over here. 4013 Silver Southeast. It's off of, if you go down, it's off of Morningside and Silver. Okay, any other questions? This is fun. I mean, go ahead. We've
brought packets.
We've got packets.
We'll have them every Monday. We'll bring packets every Monday, and you can get them here from us, and also then on Fridays.
And can they turn them back in here on Mondays?
Yep.
So if you take a packet now, do some this week, bring your finished ones back next week.
Or the week after, whatever.
Or,
long.
bring them back
25.
Friday, bring them back Monday. I mean, we got you covered.
Yep. We have a little bit of time to do it, so.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks for your
Thank
attention.
you very much. Woo. Yep. Careful. Yeah, so, just saying, we offer everything here. Yeah, we do everything. All right. Sandy? Okay, I don't know where Sandy's at. I thought she was going to be here, but she needs 2 volunteers for this Saturday's march to help carry the Back Off Blackstone banner. If you are interested, please scan that code and let her know you can help. She also wants volunteers to help pass out a little bookmark kind of thing at the rally that people can, where the rally goers can scan and learn more about this Blackstone potential takeover of our public utility and do what we can to stop it. So she needs volunteers for that. If you're going to the rally and wouldn't mind helping out, passing things out to people, saying hello, all of that, we'd really appreciate getting the word out about this. This is a great opportunity to take advantage of a massive group of people all in one space at the same time. Okay, any more? Got some phones out. Let me see. Okay, I just want to, yes, question. Well, the media is an interesting thing. the media, the newspaper, the TV stations, they've all been sent information about this rally. What they do with it, I don't know. There was a request today for a media guy to come set up a press station where he was going to record what was going on and try to interview people. So I don't know what the media is actually saying about it, but certainly if you're on any kind of social media, it's all over that. And it's also, if you subscribe to any of the channels on Substack, it's all over that. Like, there's all kinds of information out there about it. But what the media is going to do with it, I don't know. There will be a big press release this week, and I'm sure there'll be some TV interviews, as much as I hate doing those, but I will. They always ask the dumbest questions. Just dumb. Dumb. Why are you doing this? Do you have a brain? I'm sorry, I don't say that, but I want to. So the answer is I don't know what the media is going to do with it. I do know that there is a lot of national media that will be following Albuquerque in particular, because we're one of the major big cities in this, like I've told you guys before, we're being advertised along with New York, Denver, San Francisco, Seattle, Minneapolis, Portland, Los Angeles, Chicago. We're on that list. There's 13 major cities they're pushing, and we're number 13. So thank you, all of you, for showing up in October, because that got us on the list. Shannon. So our special speaker, we cannot announce. We've talked to the special speaker's security team, and Thursday at noon will be the announcement. So we were hoping to announce last week, but they insisted that we hold that. So I know that some of you know who that is, and we ask you to please keep that off of social media. Please hold that to yourself for just a few more days. Thursday at noon, you can blow the lid off, and we will. There will be all kinds of social media about it, and then I guarantee you the media is going to be very interested. I'm pretty sure he's not going to one of these, but no J.D. Vance for us. No, you guys will be very, very, very pleased. Yes, another question? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, next slide. We'll go over a few more details about the rally and the march. APD.
Use your clicker.
I have the clicker. God. Duh. I have the clicker. Okay, so if you haven't checked it, please, if you have parking questions or handicapped parking questions or bike valet questions or anything like that, please go to the website where there's a very, very long description about all of it. So indivisiblealbuquerque.com. Go to the No Kinks 3 tab. You can't miss it. It's the first thing on the first page is the link to that tab. Very special guest information coming Thursday at noon. So what do these numbers mean? 10,000. What do you think that means? Number of signs. Richard, you don't get to say. You don't get to shout it out. You're part of the team. That's the number of signs that are in the back of my car right now. I went to pick him up today, and he says, you're going to be a lowrider for a little bit. They did the confirmation, and Heinrich voted in favor. Okay, I'll be interviewing primary candidates. Please email me privately. I'll talk to you. Somebody in this room is going to do it. Somebody in this room is going to run against Senator Heinrich in the primary. Okay? Somebody in this room. Not me. Won't be me. Okay, what does the number 60 mean? What was that? That's the minimum number of peacekeepers we're going to have out there. We're not going to give you the exact number, but we'll have 60-some peacekeepers out there. How about 40? 40 is the number of megaphones the chanters will have along the marching route. How about 20? Oh, no, there's way more bike racks than that. 20 is the number of porta potties available that we have contracted for. So, yes, we're thinking of everything. How about 3? That is the number of golf carts we're going to have running around, taking people places, picking up stuff. Yeah, there's been a lot going on. I'm very excited. I know after this is over, I'm going to sleep for 3 days. As will the rest of the team, like Richard, who's been very involved getting us sponsorships and very involved getting groups to pony up money, speakers, time, all of it. And Cody, who's at the back, who's our peacekeeper lead. And let's see who else is in the room. There's this planning team of 15 to 20 people from various indivisible groups around Albuquerque, Sandoval County, Valencia County, even to Harris, Rio Grande Indivisible. I mean, there's just a lot of groups pitching in volunteers. And I know, how many of you have volunteered have signed up to volunteer at the rally? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. Any questions I can answer? So Willie is shaking his head. That is not what happened. So Shannon's question was, she remembered that Willie gave a presentation about the meeting with Senator Heinrich where he said that he was part of the group that took a pledge to block things in the Senate. And Willie says that is not what he said. Okay, Michelle. Where's our table going to be? In the tabling area. I don't know where. I'm not in charge of that. We have a membership committee. So Rick can probably tell you where the membership table is going to be, but I don't know. It's in the tabling area. We'll point that out. Michael. What do the signs look like? They're 11 by 17, so they're about that high, that wide, and there's 4 kinds. One says, we the people, like lines of we the people over and over. One says, no kings, no crowns, something else. Yeah, you had to ask, but they're all in the back of my car. If we need a field trip after the meeting, I'm happy to show you. We also have some very big banners that National sent us that say no kings, and those will be plastered on the side of the trailer that will be hauling all of our gear to the park. There's a lot of stuff. We're going to have over 200 traffic cones to set up all around to keep people in the right places and put them all in the right places. Oh my God, you just would not believe it. When you get there and you see all the things that have been planned and all the things that are done, just remember, we're all volunteers. Nobody's paying anybody anything for any of this. Barbara, thank you for the fabulous art build last week. bring them over to the, So if you come to cocktails on, I'm working on it. Barbara said that they have a lot of supplies left from the art build last week and some signs that still need painting, and she's proposing to bring them to cocktails on Wednesday so that we can all work on them. So if you've got nothing to do on Wednesday, come to cocktails at Juneau Brewery at 5 o'clock and 5 to 6:30 or so by the time we actually leave. And we'll get busy. We'll finish some of these banners and things. So Barbara still has banner stuff, and she needs words to go on it. If you have ideas, please see her before the end of the night. Thank you, Barb Grothus. Really appreciate your time on that. Really great. Okay, any other questions I can answer? All right. How many of y'all are taking the bus? Question, yes. The rally will be, so we're expecting people to start pouring into the park at 9 or whatever. There will be music that starts at 11. We have the School of Rock bands are playing. So that's kind of fun. They're going to play until noon. The speakers will start around noon, and they will go until about 1. And then we exit the park, likely in 2 directions. Listen carefully to directions from the stage. And we do the march. And we think it'll take about 2 hours for everybody to march the 3-mile route and get out of the park and all the way back into the park. So that's what we have planned. There is no programming after the march. Yes, Michelle. The porta potties arrive, thank you, at 6:30 in the morning. If you need the entire delivery schedule, I have that. But, yeah, no. The porta potties arrive at 6:30 in the morning, along with the medic tents. So, yes, we have everything. It's all up here. Any other questions about the rally? The march. The big event. The biggest event in the history of Albuquerque. Yes. I have not heard what they're doing. All I know is that APD had a release out last night saying that at 12:30, the normal bus routes down San Mateo will be detoured around the march. So if you're planning on taking the bus, make sure you don't wait till 12:30 because you'll already be halfway through the speeches by then. So get there early. And it runs every half hour, but I don't know how many extra buses. I know they know, but I don't know what the plan is. I've not been told that. Other questions? Yes, at the back. So the question was that for people who don't want to make the whole route on the march, the 2-mile route, the 3-mile route, park where you want to leave out of the march. So if you want to march a block, park close to that. Then pull out of the march wherever you want. Don't park within the march inside the perimeter because you won't be able to get your car out because there'll be people blocking the streets. Park outside the perimeter, and then you can park and pull out wherever you want. If they need to get picked up, I would suggest they get picked up somewhere outside the march route. You can pick a place. And Cody's going to answer more specific questions. If you go to the website, indivisiblealbuquerque.com, it's listed there. But roughly, when we're going to leave the park on Comanche, we're going to turn west and march about less than a quarter of a mile to San Mateo. From San Mateo, we will turn north and march up to Montgomery, where we will turn east on Montgomery and march to Louisiana. And then from Louisiana, we will march south back to Comanche and west again back to the park. Yes, Bob. We have covered the expenses. We are going to be asking for donations. Yes, so Chris Hayward is in charge of collecting donations in the park. She's got 20 or so volunteers that are prepped. They'll be wearing volunteer shirts and top hats, I believe, to identify them. And they will have bags and QR codes and everything like that to collect money in the park that we know there's going to be expenses we haven't paid for. And that's what that will go for. Anything left over will go into the rally fund that we will use next time, because there will be another one of these sometime this year. National hasn't told us when. They just said there will be another. Great question. Other questions? Okay, so tomorrow we have Coffee and Conversation at 8 a.m. We have Resist Tyranny Tuesday in the Northeast Heights from 11 to 12. We have Resist Tyranny Tuesday at 4th and Lomas at noon. Wednesday, Cocktails and Conversations, 5 p.m. Juneau Brewery. Thursday, Coffee and Convo, Barella's Coffee House at 9 a.m. And Art Therapy, needed to come off. I didn't get that fixed. That was last week. Postcard Therapy Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, that Kim just talked about. And Saturday, it's the big one. We're not sponsoring it, so, but it's in the newsletter, and Michelle has a flyer. Is there another sign making party? Was the question. Yes. All right. Next week we have Cesar Marquez from Common Cause. He's going to talk about ranked choice voting, and Representative Gabe Vasquez will be here. So that'll be a great meeting. April 6th, we're going to have a land commissioner forum. We'll have the candidates that made the primary ballot here to ask them questions about their positions, so that you guys go into that primary fully informed. And then April 13th is a lieutenant governor forum. And Willie, have all the candidates confirmed? Okay. Okay, so yeah, Secretary of State candidate forum will be the 20th. So this is how all of you get informed. Please tell your friends if they have questions for candidates to email indivabq@gmail.com, and we will get these candidate forums going. Thank you, Willie, for getting them all organized. And next up is Reverend Robin Hoover. Robin is a board member, and he's been working on immigration issues for over 40 years, and he's got a plan, and we're going to hear about it. So thank you, Robin.
Show it. Just one slide at a time.
Yeah, you can slideshow.
They're working on it. Slideshow mode?
Far left, normal. we go. This is the cover of my brand new book, Migrants Matter, A Different Law and Order. It's about immigration reform, but I'm not exactly doing a book review here. If you find some slides that are of interest to you, you can download them at robinhoover.com, way down in the website. I've been around doing this stuff for 40 years with migrants. We've built shelters. I'm an old sanctuary worker. We've smuggled lots of people, sewn them up, dug bullets out of them, done all these other kinds of things. I was the founder and president emeritus of Humane Borders, the people that put the water stations in the desert in Arizona. Some of you are aware of that work. Anyway, and I made a 3-star general cry one day. That was fun. I did not name this the Hoover Plan. Some scholars in Washington, D.C., when we were presenting in a congressional hearing, started calling it the Hoover Plan about 20 years ago. Anyway, as a matter of social justice, we've got to deal with the undocumented. Everybody sort of has a warm, fuzzy feeling about what undocumented means, but it's a huge number of people, around 14 million. If you add in DACAs, if you add in some TPS people, if you in some other kinds of categories and classifications, you're really looking at about 18 million people. So this part of the plan is for those that we would consider undocumented. And I can answer a whole lot of questions about immigration if you buttonhole me someday about your wife's uncle's cousins got a strange problem and with immigration or whatever. I've had the immigration courses, but when I took the immigration courses, there were 99 visas. There's 186 now. So this thing just changes daily. So it's not a story that I can keep up with. As a matter of social justice, we've got to deal with the people that are already here. And I want you to think about this in terms of numbers. If we're looking at 14 or 18 million people, Trump's trying to get rid of 1 million. So let's look at a plan that would address the needs, the issues, the concerns, the legalities, everything about 18 million. That sounds like a better target to me. So the problem, no papers, give them papers. And we've done this before. I don't know how many of you remember Immigration Reform and Control Act of '86, and then we went through the legalization program. A little bitty old Lubbock, Texas out here. I helped legalize 50,000 people. So anyway, when they did all that, the NGOs, the congregations, and other entities went out and prepared all the paperwork, and then they'd bring in an immigration judge, an ALJ, administrative law judge, and they would do all the legal stuff, stamp the papers, etc. You can do as much vetting as you want to do. I want you to understand that vetting is probably the single largest procedural public administration complaint that we have right now. They want to know who's here, why they're here, where'd they come from, are they kin to some terrorist or whatever. So, and in my plan, you say, okay, you're going to be here for X number of years. What's your life plan? Well, I want to go home. I'm going to fix mom's roof. We got to do this. We got to do that. How much time do you need? I need to be here 3 years. Stamp that sucker and go. Okay. If you don't comply, that's a whole nother issue. We'll get to that. Some people, you know, they've settled a family, they're working, they're making a major contribution to our society. We might give them a 22-year visa. I'll let the people that make sausage figure out the exact dates. You don't actually want to get in the back rooms when they're marking up one of these bills. So we're going to create basically a new social contract. You come out of the darkness. We want to know who you are. We want to know what your plan is. We're going to give you something, and in return for that, you're going to contribute to our society, and you're going to comply with some things, and that's fair. Driver's license, car insurance, health insurance, etc. Use some good social science. It just turns out over the last 50 years, every 10 years, about 30% of the people who are here undocumented self-deport. Okay? So people have been coming and going for a very long time, and they will continue to do so. We expect that. You can begin naturalization. The difference with the Reagan plan is that Republicans will never sign on to a plan like that again, ever, not for 100 years. It put everybody on an immediate path to citizenship. Liberals, you got to give that up. It's not going to happen. But if you're here and you have a long-term visa, then you can go get in line, and you'll be in the same line as somebody from the Philippines or Norway or South Africa, whatever. It's kind of like, we're not going to put you in the front of the line because you jumped the line, all right? We're just not going to be able to do that politically. It's just not going to happen. So one of the things that people don't understand is that you can do all of your legal homework even if you're in absentia, if you're gone, if you're back. You can start the paperwork here, and then you can go to Mexico, and 5 years later they say, okay, you've been accepted, come on home. So anyway, this would change a lot, the status of an awful lot of people that are here, are much larger targets than the Republicans are currently going after. You're not going to like what I say about the Democrats in a minute. So you would be able to travel. The airlines would be selling tickets like hotcakes. People want to go home and see their family and so forth. They can buy homes, cars. I know undocumented people in Phoenix that have $300,000 and $400,000 in their banks, just sitting there drawing simple interest when they could be buying a home and taking care of a family or whatever else. They could start businesses, and the way this works is once you jump categories and you're here and you have a big economic stake in the United States, that qualifies you for other kinds of visas than you're normally here spoken of, et cetera. You could serve in the military, and by God, anybody that serves in the military deserves to get in line and be accepted. There's some other things. We have a whole lot of stuff to do for the undocumented. I could go for hours and hours on this laundry list, but we need to tweak the immigration and naturalization preferences right now. And some of you are old enough to remember 1965. I think that's safe to say. So we changed from a race-based quota system to a country of origin system. That sounded so much nicer during Johnson's Great Society, okay? But guess what? It had zero effect because of the first, second, and third preferences, and so you were still bringing your kids and your relatives, brothers and sisters, and your parents, and what was the preference set for? It was set for Northern Europe. So for 20 years, we didn't even see any blip in the racial composition. So we created a national quota system, and that's not fair either. So I'll get into that in a minute. So, and we need to move all immigration matters over into Title III courts, the American judicial system. Right now, we do not have anything that is fair. Nothing. Zero. That's the biggest change that we could have for justice that you could imagine. Probably never happened in my lifetime. We also have to fix 96, and that's code language in my crowd for fixing what Bill Clinton did. Bill Clinton wrote the worst immigration laws in U.S. history, period. End of conversation. He tore up families with the bars. You got to go home for 5 years, 10 years, permanent bar. It's hard to come up with a good example, but if I committed a little misdemeanor, it got reclassified, but if it's a misdemeanor in a Title III court, it became an aggravated felony in immigration court. Aggravated felony for somebody that's here on a visa, you're gone, permanent bar. So he messed up 14-year-old kids in my church doing this because a kid discharged a firearm on a New Year's Eve in Tucson. I got news for you. About 100,000 people do that on New Year's Eve in Tucson. But anyway, he was at a party, boom. He was out of the country in 45 minutes. Man, boom, gone. Anyway, a lot of things that we can do. All of this matters. The deaths of Pretty and Good were horrible. Everybody knows about it nationally, internationally. But I just want to remind everybody that there's 10,000 people that have died along our border since 1999 that we've documented. I started the mapping of deaths in Arizona in fall of 2000. Every one of those little dots is a death, okay? Some of them are stacked on top of each other, 5 in a group or whatever. It's horrible. That's Arizona. I think there's supposed to be a pointer on this thing. I don't know. Let me find it. Okay, New Mexico's over here, and this is Arizona cut in half. That's Phoenix. That's Tucson. This is Latona Indian Nation. Here's Yuma. There's actually a whole bunch more red dots here, but that's the Barium Goldwater bombing range, and we can't go out there and do looking, and nobody goes out and does search and rescue. Even the Bureau of Land Management can't go out there. So anyway, it's horrible. 43% of the deaths in Arizona every year, on average for the last, since 99, have occurred on the Octum property. And so I'll just confess right now, I am person non grata. I am banished forever to set foot on there because I fuss with them about it. Anyway, I'll continue to fuss. Let's see, I'm going to back up and show you one thing right here. This next photograph was taken about right there. That's what we call it the West Desert, looks like in Arizona. It's ghastly. So 26 people started out there in their coyote, the Gia technically, didn't know where he was going. And so he walked way out over here, and he should have come up right there. Anyway, it's deceptive. You know what it is in Arizona, in New Mexico. It's 30 miles to the base of the mountains. So anyway, 14 died out there all in one day, and that sort of catapulted us into national and international news. We'd already been doing our work, but along comes the reporters. This is Prudencia Martin Gomez, age 19. I have her parents' permission to use this photograph to encourage people not to come. That is her skull, her long black tresses, her open rib cage, her mummified legs in the blue jeans. If you ever go out to the desert, wear denim on everything. That way they'll be able to identify you. This is the first of the dead migrants that I encountered in my work, and I'll remind you again, we've documented more than 10,000 from Brownsville to San Diego. I am sorry for what happened in Minneapolis, but we've been yelling and screaming for 25 years and nobody paid any attention. So, death, all of those dots, all the way up and down the Rio Grande River, are a deliberately chosen public policy of the United States government. Period. End of conversation. Pre-94, there were some migrant deaths in the urban areas, and Doris Meisner, who was a friend of mine, who was the Customs and Border Protection Commissioner for years and years, signed a document, and they started intentionally moving the deaths into the desert, knowing what they were doing and knowing what we had estimated the death rate would be. They did it anyway. Deaths are still in the desert, but now they're moving back into urban areas and into detention. Excuse me. I'm getting dry. Reform is not a salient political, I'm putting on my political science hat now. It is not a salient issue. Nobody out there is wanting to do anything about it. They want to tweak this little knob over here and something, toggle this, change something, put whatever. Politicians, any politician, Heinrich, can be for or against immigration reform and still get elected. I hate to tell you that, but that's true of every politician there is. You're not going to stop them. There is not political will aggregated sufficiently for reform. You can flounder all around on it all you want, and you can still get elected and be a politician. Democrats do not have a plan. You got it? Sorry. So for those that want to come here, I want to exempt Mexico and Central America from the worldwide quotas that were established in 1965. 40,000 people from Brazil is not equal to 40,000 people coming from Mexico or one of the tiny little islands in the Caribbean. 40,000, there are probably only 40,000 people on the island. So we need to establish annual quotas based on our needs by sector: agriculture, service, hospitality, construction, healthcare. Certify the workers in the country of origin before they even come here. They make their application there. They sit in front of our inspectors there. They allow the unions and syndicates in Mexico, trade associations, to prep these workers so that they can hit the ground running when they come here with their papers. They're just all ready to go. We need to clean up some of the human rights violations that have happened in the past. Thank you, sir. Is this from the back bar? You're here. So, a lot of you remember the Bracero program, right? I went out when I was maybe 9th grade with an elder in my church and my dad, and I said, yeah, he sleeps right here, and he does this work, and he wears these clothes. I take him into town on Saturday, et cetera, et cetera. And if he doesn't do right, then I just call Migra. That's the end of it. That's growing up in West Texas. Except if you were female, we do all of these things, and we have sex at Thursday at 2 o'clock. And if you don't like it, I'm calling. So we have to change the Bracero program qualifications. We want to put the visas in the hand of the migrant. If I'm working in a hotel in Vegas on the Strip and I get into trouble, I can all by myself just go to the next casino and get hired over there, okay? At least, because we're never going to put enough labor inspectors in there. We don't even have them enough for people that are in citizens. So here's the clincher that one of my original contributions that I made 20-something years ago, I don't remember. So right now, you come and you spend a fortune to members of the cartel. Where we live, it's not cartel. The Mexicans call it what it is, the mafia. So you open an account here, $6,000, $10,000, I don't care how much it is. And then every one of your paychecks, automatically your employer deducts 10% and keeps growing that account, keeps growing and keeps growing, okay? Pew Hispanic Center tells us that that would double, triple, even more, depending on what sector of the economy you're working on. You know, if you're a block layer, you're getting more money than if you're changing sheets in a hotel, so it's going to vary. Anyway, so if you've been given a visa that lasts 24, 36, 48 months, whatever it is, when that expires, you go home, and your money goes home. And if you're in full compliance, you get every penny of that back, okay? Your family knows to expect it. The mayor where you live knows that you're coming home with a bunch of money, et cetera. Everybody knows. You leave. And this would establish the first ever economic incentive for compliance with the visa in U.S. immigration history. That's my contribution to the discourse. I'd like to see it happen. I don't know if it'll ever happen. But I got news for you. There's a whole lot of Wall Street Republicans that like that idea. The migrants are currently paying up to $13,000 to get from Hermosillo, Sonora. These are numbers from last week, okay? $13,000 to get from Hermosillo just up to the border because Trump put so damn much pressure on Claudia Sheinbaum that she deployed over 10,000 National Guards people in remote desert areas going from Baja California down to Tamaulipas. That's why the border's closed, not because of U.S. Border Patrol. They don't know jack about how to close the border. I got news for you. The U.S. doesn't know how to close the border. So they're paying $13K to get through the Guardia Nacional. Then they're paying, it's actually about we adjusted that number, $1,243. And where that number came from, it's a peso conversion, but that's what it was last week, just to cross. So that might take you, a matter of a few hours. And then you got to figure out where you're going. Well, you decided ahead, but you have some alternatives. The mafia will go out here and establish caches of water and food, etc. And if you want to go from point to point to point and then find your way into Phoenix, that costs about $2,000 worth of prep work. If you want to be delivered door to door, it could be another $6,000 or $8,000. The last person I crossed, are there any law enforcement officials in here? Maybe somebody, anyway. Last person I have some knowledge of crossed just east of El Paso. It cost $7,000 to get from the border. What's the little town south of here? Los Lunas. You got delivered to the door for $7,000. So it's all going on. Anyway, so why are we doing this? Why are we putting up the money? We're taking it out of the mafia's hands. You comply, and then the money all comes right back to you. No government agency. You decide which account you're sending it to, okay? Mama, sister, wife, whatever's going. So if you comply, nobody's out a nickel, okay? We've never had that kind of incentive before. I'm not going to read all this sort of stuff. I'm going to just sort of tell you what's going on. Me and my cohort, and there's a bunch of us, hundreds, have been counting and exercising education and conferences and news and done everything we can do. We've lobbied. I've personally briefed Kennedy, McCain, Kerry, Schumer, even the idiot John Cornyn. There's a whole bunch of people out there, and they're slow students. They don't want to sit down and learn anything. And there's no will, there's no effort, there's nothing. They're not interested in doing a major immigration reform bill, period. It's just not there. So, and there's a zillion people out there that could help if they just asked for us. So, okay, I put it out here. All of our political parties, the GOP and the Democrats, are purple on this issue. And you get somebody that's really to one side over here and then one side over there, but basically it's all purple. The whole damn thing's purple. And in our policies have practiced eugenics and racism and quotas and family separations and forced sterilizations and genocide and politically based visas. The president's wife got a special visa. Anyway, all of our immigration policies purple. So in my book, I will point out a couple of things. We have to have some sort of concept of empathy. We have to know who these people are. We've got to understand their story. And you've been taught off and on who to love and who to hate. We hated the Japanese when I was little. And then now we got to love the Japanese. When I bought an Italian car, my dad nearly had a heart attack. So anyway, and then empathy is just DEI, right? Everybody right? It's just DEI. And now NAGA political figures and religious leaders are trying to tell us that empathy is wrong. Musk said it's the downfall of civilization. Oh my God. Reform requires knowledge, and when I'd normally go and do one of these things or a weekend conference or one of these 30-hour lecture series over a few days at a university, we get into some of that stuff that you got to know. But just the real simple stuff seems to we just miss it. We really don't get it. Here's an example. Where's the border? Can you tell me where the border is? Well, your GPS might be able to tell you, but I got news for you. The border is in Dubai. It's in Soto Cano Air Base in Honduras. It's Washington, D.C. It's in corporate boardrooms. You can be sitting in a boardroom in Houston and making decisions. Back in the day, it was Texas Instruments and Exxon and Gulf and all these other corporations, and they just draw lines on the maps, and they decide, well, we're going to pay this amount of money for workers here. We're going to pay it here. We're going to pay it there. If we bring in this worker, then and we get to hold his visa, and we're going to pay him X amount of money. So where's the border? Those decisions aren't made by the U.S. government. They're made by corporations. It's weird. Okay, we don't know where the border is. The only thing that has happened almost in my lifetime is we come up with enforcement-only policies. I mean, you remember when Obama says, "Oh yeah, we'll work with you. We'll go for a secure border, and then we can have a conversation on immigration reform." Well, he went out and did his side of the equation real good. He was the deporter in chief. Did we ever have a conversation? No. Biden did the same stuff. Biden cheated the system big time with Title 42 and a bunch of other I'm not going to get into the stuff, but anyway, one of the things that we've done for decades is using some neoliberal economic models. We figure if we drive up the cost of what it costs to cross the border, then you won't come. Supply and demand. Wrong. I just told you, 13,000 plus 2,000 plus another 6,000. That's not what happens. And everything we do is wrong. What is the one, anybody, I dare you, what is the one thing that a border wall does do? What does it do concerning immigrants? Right answer, because I've told you before. When I started working with immigrants, the average, in the 80s, the average length of a stay of a migrant was something like 18 months. Yeah, I got news for you. It's about 11 years right now, best we can come up with. It makes it too difficult to go home and come back. Too expensive, too dangerous, back in the hands of the cartels, etc. It doesn't make sound sense. So I'm picking on the men today. If the male comes up here and works, which typically is the situation, and he leaves the family there, then he starts another family here. In an 11-year cycle, you increase the likelihood that you're going to have encounters with law enforcement and need to be on the state, city, county, state, federal dole, getting some money, health care, whatever's going on, and so expenses go up. So the other thing about the fence is that building the fence gives the cartels billions of dollars, because everything that we do enforcement-wise increases their market. You have to have help to get across the border. As recently as 2000, maybe 3, 4, 5% of the migrants were using the services of coyotes or guias, in my language, and now it's 100%. 100%. In fact, they're controlling the migration as much as 250 miles south of the border. It makes it physically. We make it physically difficult to come. We make it expensive or fiscally difficult. We push the migrants to the desert ever since '94. We militarize the border. The Department of Defense does not want to change this, because if you look out there at all that property in Arizona, where about half of the migrants enter into the United States, you'll see that almost 86% of the land is public, and a whole bunch of it's federal. And this is where our military does research and development on all of their low-intensity warfare, all of their surveillance equipment, etc., because they don't have to hire stunt doubles to walk down the way. They sit up there with their tower, and they count heads, and they do all this stuff. So and they do all their drones. I hosted Slovakian Border Patrol agents in my church because they were over here to learn how to be an asshole like our Border Patrol. So it was a strange thing. Anyway, I say we, a huge group of people, but this was my project, tried to get out here. We're back in Arizona again. Phoenix is that big white blob. This is Interstate 10. We tried to get cell phone coverage out in the desert because over 50% of the rescues of migrants are self-initiated by migrants using their cell phone. But if you don't have any coverage, you're screwed. I nearly went to jail over this. These are warning posters in Spanish. Don't go, there's not enough water, it's not worth it, etc. Here's where the deaths are, here's where the water stations are. Secretary Michael Chertoff, I wear this like a merit badge, came out and did a single purpose press conference just to denounce Robin Hoover by name in Tucson. So I'm the only minister in the history of the U.S. that's been denounced by the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. I love it. Anyway, me and Afro Man are doing good. We used a lot of technologies. These are water stations. These are rescue beacons. These are flashlights. The rescue beacon is a hellaciously funny story. $250 for that little device. So it's for search and rescue. So you pull this thing out, pull the antenna out, push the button. It goes to the U.S. Air Force desk in Maryland. Then they figure out who's the closest search and rescue people, and then they go down there and they get you. Well, it didn't turn out. Didn't turn out that way. We passed these things out south of the border through a network of friends, in quotes, and the back of that device has my name on it and a code number. So if the guide gets caught and he has that and they turn it over, the Border Patrol goes, shit, take this man back to the border now. So the guide got a free ride home. He never even got processed, no fingerprinting, no nothing. So the Gias loved me. Anyway, what are our goals? If you actually want to do something about immigration reform, we need national security is a real issue. Stable, expansive labor markets. I've asked tens of thousands of people in the auditorium, how many of you want to improve human rights? That arm doesn't go up very fast, and it only goes up about halfway. That's my whole life, but there's not much public support for human rights anymore. How many of you want less noise on the border and reduce violence? Everybody goes, yeah, we like all that. What we don't like is war in our cities. We don't like the mass and the lack of identification and the random raids and breaking windows and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sorry to say it this way, I'm a bearer of bad news, but the Democrats sitting here fussing about, well, you're not wearing the right uniform, we can't see you, and you're behaving badly. Jesus Christ, let's reform the whole damn system. Let's go for some meat. This one kills me. I've showed you the Tohono O'odham Nation. We're going to be so cooperative with the federal government, so they create this chain link fence enclosure with just chain link for the roof, and 2 Border Patrol agents are sitting in air-conditioned, cushy chairs in their office playing with their computers, and they've got refrigerated vending machines when it's 110 degrees out there. And we took a picture of that little girl. I took it to the Pima County Board of Supervisors and showed it to them. And during the week when the Tohono O'odham were trying to get a federal contract so that they could, I heard you. So, while they were trying to get a contract to build a detention center. Well, we stopped the detention center. Q&A. How are we doing, Den Mother? All right. will sign you up and you walk the halls of Congress because they don't know it either.
Repeat the question, please.
I'm sorry. She's saying that there's so many people that don't understand what the limitations are. And I said, well, we're going to deputize you to walk the halls of Congress because they don't know it either.
Tell you what, she'd be good at it.
Yeah. All right. Sir, I don't know everybody's name out here.
Yeah, that's me. Just wondered, you're talking about issuing visa by way of skills needed. Obvious question is, what happens if it turns out more people want to come here than visas are issued?
We've got a group here, so that's a self-defined group in your Venn diagram. But for those that want to come, I was going rather quickly, but it needs to be labor certified per sector. That's not going to get everybody, but we would set a quota every year as to how many people are going to come over here and work in marine fisheries, how many people are going to work in hospitality, how many are going to work in construction, et cetera. And I got news for you. Mexicans know more about the economic conditions in Southside Chicago than the U.S. Labor Department. So this is a problem because their cousins and uncles say, next week we're hiring 2 more bricklayers, okay? So it's still problematic, but we can do it.
So I read the bipartisan bill, and I thought that looked really good for immigration because it gave pathways for people.
Sorry, I'm not hearing all of that.
The last bipartisan bill that Trump told them not to push through, it actually looked really good because it had ways for people to do it legally. And I've also read Obama's and Biden's policy, like what their plan was and whether it turned out the way they planned it. I don't see how you'd improve on what they put in writing, because I think what happened is a change with actually having to deal with Congress accepting what they wanted. But when I read their policy, it looked very reasonable, and I think most people would understand that and probably appreciate most of it. I don't know if they didn't get to do it as they wanted, but I thought those were pretty good policies when I read them.
Okay, let me comment on that. When a president makes a speech, when parties put planks in platforms, they're talking over to an intended audience that wants to feel good with us. When you actually implement something, that's a whole different ballgame. And what I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Democrats have done a lousy job. Okay, we gave all of the tools to Trump that he could ever, in his wildest imagination, use to do the shit that he's doing right now. Okay, we got to quit doing that. We need to stand up and say we're not going to do that. And I'm just saying a party plank or a presidential speech doesn't stop it. Go ahead.
Implementing, but the other thing I was going to say is the Heritage Foundation has literally taken the last 3 presidents and did the policy, and they don't want anyone from another country here. That's specifically what they don't want in the Heritage Foundation. And then I would also state that farmers want free labor and to be able to deport people if they don't follow rape or any of the other things they want. So it's not in the interest from the lobbyist to the representatives to make it legal. There's a lot of actual free enslavement. But the Heritage Foundation, when you read their policy, they don't want them here.
Here's a trick question, and it goes to what you're saying. What is the most open border crowd in the United States? Nope. Mm-mm. She said farmers. Wall Street. Wall Street is, for nearly 30 years, the Wall Street Journal on the July 4th editorial every year called for open borders. Open borders is totally untenable, by the way, even though I understand the academic argument. Who's the most anti-immigrant crowd in the United States? And it's not let me say this clearly. You're going to guess that it's the red state Main Street Republicans. It's not. Guess who were the most anti-migrant people? No. It depends on the union. Service Employees International Union says, bring them on. AFL-CIO, no, we got to talk about it. So who really hates migrants? You're going to shoot me, but it's true. The really lefty environmental groups, animal rights groups, and everybody else, I had to fight the defenders of wildlife just to put a flag up over an existing wildlife watering location in the Cabeza Prieto National Wildlife Refuge. They stopped any aid being given for a 3-month period until we could work some of that stuff out. And I get death threats from, of course, from the Aryan Nation. All the why is people are trash and people are messing up the environment.
I don't believe that human rights activists and people like that are trash and that they would be for animals. That's crazy.
I'm just telling you, it's my lived experience.
Well, that's your lived evidence.
It's the lived experience of many of us that have pushed for the human rights.
Based on lived experience, is there data to back that up?
Mm-hmm.
Can you share that?
I just told you, Defenders of Wildlife stopped implementation of programs that had been sponsored by the White House. I got it. That's what I'm trying to say is who the parties are, who the players out here will surprise you. That's my point.
Well, I've got a question here. We're talking about immigration. We're talking about deportation. If it's deportation, then why in the hell are we incarcerating them?
I can't agree with you more.
Give them their certain day. I mean, this is against the law. We're letting these people build concentration camps with our dollars. Why in the hell are we putting up? That's what we need to, we say. If you're going to send them back, or you should give them their due process. We know that. But if you're going to send them back, send them back. Don't put a 5-year-old or a 3-year. And
I agree.
I'm fucking pissed about this shit.
I am too. We were effing pissed when it was only 10,000. Right now we're sitting at about 71,000 people incarcerated. And it makes no sense. Yes.
Because
They're
the
making money
prison
off the prison
populations
industry.
continue to fall, and these for-profit prison companies are getting lots of money from the federal government to incarcerate people that are detained,
It's
and
big
they
bucks.
detain them indefinitely.
So
It's absolutely against the law, but
we-
Core Civic and all of those companies are in bed with the federal government, and that is why they are detaining people, because they don't have enough to fill their prisons anymore.
So does everybody realize that HB 9 that a lot of people worked really hard for in the House and Senate New Mexico session that just completed, none of that is going to matter. Not one piece of it is enforceable. The 2 detention centers in Torrance and Chaves County, I believe. Otero, no, not Otero. Otero's different. Cibola, thank you. Those are not owned by the county or the state or anybody else, so those independently owned detention centers could always just contract with the federal government. Didn't matter what state law we passed, and that was well known before the law even came up through the House and the Senate in New Mexico. And then Otero County is in a hot mess because that county has a bond that they have to pay off because they built that detention center. The county built the one in Otero County, and now they can't pay off their bond according to state law, so they did an intergovernmental agency contract to contract with the federal government to keep that place open for detainees. But they had an illegal open meeting, and so now the Attorney General is doing his best to say that meeting was illegal, and therefore you're going to have to like abide by this state law. That is very wishy-washy. So HB 9, as good as it sounded, and as much as we patted ourselves on the back, and as many great legislators worked hard on that, is having no effect. It is not illegal in New Mexico to do it because that state law has no effect except for one detention center, and that's only if the AG gets it through. So let's be clear about all of this. Let's lay it out on the table. That was a great thing to do. Nothing's going to happen from it. So let's pat ourselves on the back for doing nothing and wasting a lot of time. Sorry. We tried. Okay, we got to wrap it up.
Thanks.
So, speaking to what you were just talking about, of how we passed a bill that didn't really do anything, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but New Jersey has legislation up that would assign fees and extra taxes to private prisons. They're charging, there's the bill, I'm reading it right now, it's A4077, if anyone wants to look it up. It will assign a $15 fee per head per day to people kept in private prisons. Yeah, so if we make it financially non-viable to be here, they will move to another state or stop operating completely.
Those are minor adaptations, but powerful witnesses. I'm not discounting. I grew up when we were fighting the short hoe, Texas farm workers in Texas, and so they said, okay, we just won't let you use a hoe. Get down on your knees. So government and employers are going to respond faster than we can even begin to make noise.
That's right, the private sector. That's right. All right, guys, this has been a fabulous discussion. You heard it here first. Thank you, Reverend Robin Hoover, board member, Indivisible Albuquerque. Happy to have him. We will see you next week. Actually, we're going to see you Saturday. Wave at me as you walk by that stage as I'm going crazy. Say hi. This is going to be massive history making, and I'm so proud of all of you for being there and helping in every way you can. All right, we'll see you next Monday. Thank you.